Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we will develop this Power BI project from start to end. We will see all the steps which are involved in this particular Power BI project in this complete video. So whatever you are seeing in front of your screen, this will be our final output. And this dashboard we will be designing from start to end in Power BI software itself. So I will give you an overview of this particular dashboard, whatever we are having. So this dashboard is actually a complete dynamic and interactive dashboard, which will be operated by few filters or few slicers. And we have also used some interactive and quick filters as well. So the topic which we have chosen today is a road accident analysis. We have a road accident data, and I will provide a link in the description box from where you can download the data and you can follow with me into your system. All right. So whatever we have, so first filter which we have here is the road surface. So with respect to road surface, if you want to um, see our data, we can go ahead and see. So whenever I'm operating this particular filter, so let's say we want to see for dry surface. Whenever I click on dry, the dashboard will be giving us the values for dry surface. Similarly, if I want to see for snow, so it will give us that particular values, right? Similarly, with respect to weather condition, also we have some filters here. So if I want to see for fine weather, so it will give us the values with respect to fine weather. If I want to see for rainy season, so it will give us with respect to that the values. All right. So apart from these slicers, we have also used some quick filters. So if you can see this particular donut chart, so when I click on this particular urban slice, so you can see the values are changed with respect to that. If I want to see for rural, so values will be changed with respect to that. Similarly, for light condition, if I want to see for daylight, how many road accidents were done. So you can see with respect to that, I'm getting these particular values. Similarly, if I want to see with respect to road type and I want to see it for dual carriageway, and when I click on this particular bar, it is an interactive filter which gives us the value with respect to that. All right. Similarly here as well. So this dashboard is completely dynamic. It will give us the idea of each and every what we can say granularity if a user want to see. All right. And what I will give you an overall idea of what is there in this particular dashboard. So here are some primary KPIs which we have designed. These are the vertically placed secondary KPIs which are designed as per the needs of customer. So this is the trend line or the area chart which gives us the trend for current year and previous year casualties. So this is the casualties by urban and rural conditions. So this is the casualties by location. So this is a map, and if you hover on this particular map, so it will in this particular tooltip you will get an idea of how many casualties were there, how many vehicles were involved in that particular district or particular area. And one more donut chart which gives us the idea with respect to light condition and the bar chart with respect to road type. All right. So this was an overview of the dashboards. These are the steps in our project which we will see one by one in this video. And the first step which we have here is the requirement gathering, which is the very important step in any project. Whenever we are starting, we gather the requirement from our client, from our stakeholders. Then second are the stakeholders in this project. The stakeholders are nothing but who are the users of this particular project or the dashboard which we will be designing, and then that those stakeholders will take some insights from that particular dashboard. Third one is the raw data overview, or we can say this will be our database as well. We will analyze and we will see how our data is there. Then fourth one is connecting our data or connecting with database with our Power BI desktop. Then we have data cleaning. We will be cleaning some data, and we will be modifying the data with respect to our use. Then there is the data processing. In this particular step, we will do some calculations in our data so that uh, and we will be doing it with respect to some of the tax queries or some of the Power Pivot queries as well. Then next one is the data modeling, where we will be joining the tables, we will be joining the multiple tables, and we will see how we can do that in our Power BI project. Then we have to design the background as well. So whatever background which I have shown you, it has been designed in PowerPoint. I will show you that as well. Then we will do actual data visualizations. We will design some charts which will be used in our particular dashboard. Then after designing them, we will try to build a dashboard as well out of that. And while continuing with this particular video, and whenever we are designing any of the chart, I will give you the insights as well, like what this particular chart is giving us an output or insights for that particular user. So the next we will start with our first what we can say step into this particular project, that is a requirement gathering. Okay, so this is the very important steps, guys. In real time industry as well, you cannot go ahead and directly start doing the project. So your client will have a meeting with you where you will gather some information of what should be done into this particular project. Your team lead, your manager will sit with the client, and you will have a meeting for a long time, and you will gather all the requirements. So what client wants here is he want to create a road accident dashboard for 2021 and 2022, so that they can have some insights on the below requirements which we have provided for us. So what they want is they want a primary KPI where they want to show a total casualties and total accident for current year, and he want also to see how much year on year growth is there with respect to last year. In this particular current year, how many accidents have been increased or if they have decreased, and what is the percentage of that increase or decrease, right? So this is his primary KPI. And one more primary KPI he want is he want to see the accidents or total casualties in that particular accident taken place with respect to the severity of that accident. And he want to also see for year on year growth for that, and he want to only see that particular severity accidents or total casualties for current year. Okay, he don't want to see overall, he want to only analyze it for this particular year. The secondary KPIs is also he want to see the casualties with respect to different vehicle types, and that is also for current year. He want to see how is the monthly trend with respect to last year, like whether the trend of the accidents is decreasing with respect to last year or it is increasing month on month, right? And he want to see the casualties by road type, right? So there are different roads like single carriage, double carriage. You can understand if I say a multi lane or a single lane, what we can say road type. So what are the road accidents in there? How can we reduce that if it is single lane? So if it's single lane, there are more accidents. If we have to convert it into double lane so that or the accidents can be reduced, right? Then he want to see current year casualties by area locations, right? Like in urban area there are more accidents, or in rural area there are more accidents. Then he want to also analyze that particular accident with respect to day or night. So whether in daylight there are more accidents or at the night time there are more accidents. And he also want to see with respect to locations how many accidents are taking place, right? So he can analyze like which is the hotspot of, or which particular area is the hotspot for the n number or more number of accidents, right? So this is our first step where you do the requirement gathering. You sit with your customer, gather all the documents, gather all the information, and then you can go ahead and start your development, right? So our second step into this project is stakeholders. So stakeholders is nothing but whatever the dashboard you are going to develop, who will be user of that particular dashboard, right? So your client will be not the alone user. Your client may be having some multiple stakeholders, right? So if you see the road accident dashboard, so many peoples are affected and many peoples are connected to that particular dashboard, right? Obviously, the first and main important thing is the Ministry of Transport, who will be directly affected, where they want to see what are the road accidents, how they are occurred, and in different scenarios, like what requirements they have provided us with respect to that, they will come up with some insights and they will take that preventive decisions they will take. So in that case that they want to reduce the accidents. The second one will be the road transport department, the police force and emergency services department, where health and medical services come. Then road safety corps, then there are transport operators, traffic and management agencies. There may be government bodies or private bodies. Then public, obviously, we people are also important in this particular dashboards, and media as well, right? So there are some people who are directly or indirectly connected to this particular dashboard, where they will be user of this particular dashboard. So these are the main stakeholders. There may be many, but these are the main which I have highlighted over here. So always remember, you have to identify who are your stakeholders, who are your users of this particular dashboard. And in that way, you have to think and then you have to develop and design your dashboard. Okay, so this is very important. Find your users, understand your users, and see what is important for them to show in this particular dashboard. Okay, so this was our second step. We will go the next step, or not, this is not a step actually. I will whatever in this particular project, what functionalities of Power BI you will be studying, so that you will get an idea like what you will be learning and what different learnings you will be getting as a beginner or as an intermediate in this particular dashboard or in this particular project. So you will learn how to connect the raw data or a flat file. We will see the data cleaning in Power Query. We will see the data processing in Power Query. Then we will develop a time intelligent functions where we called it as a calendar date table in Power BI. So this is very, very much important whenever there is a date column present into your dashboard. And then we have a data modeling where we will connect our different tables with respect to our what we can say with respect to different tables, right? So it is nothing but in we call joining of these tables, right? And then we will see some DAX calculations to find year to date and year on year growth calculations. We will create some KPIs and some advanced KPIs as well, how to create that. Then we will create some custom charts and different measures in the report and some columns as well. We will be importing some images, how to import them, right? So then we will create different charts and we will generate the insights, and we will show, and we will also explain like how we can export this particular report, right? So we are developing this, but how we can make this particular report available to the users where they can access in their own system, right? So these are some functionalities where you which you will be studying in this project. So in this video, we will be designing this particular project in Power BI software, but I have also designed this particular project in Tableau Desktop and Excel, and I have uploaded those projects on my YouTube channel. I will add the link for you in this description box. So you can go ahead and watch those as well if you are interested. Those are also a full project video in Tableau and in Excel. So these particular types of project in different softwares take a lot of effort, guys. So I request you guys to go ahead and like the this video, subscribe the channel, and share it with your friends. Also turn on the notification bell, so whenever I'm uploading more Power BI and more Tableau videos, you will get a notification and you will learn something from that. The next step in our project is the data overview. We will see how what is the data, what is the metadata. All right. So this particular file is an Excel file, which is our database today. I will put and link into the description box from where you can go ahead and download this particular file and you can use it in your system as well. All right. So most of the times in real-time industries, what will happen, guys? You will be provided with sometimes you will be provided with flat files like Excel, PDFs, or CSV files. But in most of the cases, you will be provided with some databases, right? And that those databases may be your SQLs, right, or SQL servers, maybe Oracle, Postgres, MySQL, or any other. Sometimes you will be provided with some services like Azure Web Services or Amazon Web Services or GCPs, where all the data will be located on cloud services, and from there you have to connect your Power BI, and then you can go ahead and bring your data into our system, right? So there are many connectors available today, and they vary from company to company and from client to client. And in today's our case, we will be using this particular Excel file or flat file. All right. So if you can see in this particular dashboard, if I see the metadata, so if I see here and the number of rows which we have here, it's 3000, or we can say 307 thousands of rows are there in this particular file. And if you see the columns, total number of columns are 21. All right. And before starting any Power BI dashboard, let it be Tableau or any Excel dashboard or any other visualization tools where you want to analyze your data, always remember to study your data first. 60 to 70% of solutions are what we can say extracted with studying the data itself, right? You have to study how the data is, how it is flowing from higher end to lower end, what is the granularity of the data, what is the level of detail of this particular data. If you study that and it will be very much easy for you to go ahead and prepare the dashboard. So 60 to 70% of work is done on the data itself, and 40% is just your visualization, or making it or bringing it into the visualization and reading the insights from that. All right. So this is the data which we will be using. Now we will go ahead and bring this into our Power BI. So I have taken a new Power BI file where we will start our next step of our project, that is connecting our Power BI desktop with our data source or our database, right? So there are different default connectors which you can see over here, that is from Excel or from SQL Server or from blank table. So if there is some another data source apart from this, so you have an option here, get data from another source. So when I click on this, it will take some time to load this particular all the database, and you will see a new window will pop up over here. And there are different what we can say connectors available. Like if you click on file, it is the flat file connectors, right? Like Excel, CSV file, PDF request, and all. In databases, when you go, there are different SQL server databases like Postgres are there, MySQL is there, Teradata is there, and many more, right? And if you go on Azure services, these are some Azure services. In online services, you will get like Salesforce is there. All other many like online services are there, like GCP is there, Google Cloud, Google Analytics is there, right? So for now, for our project in this, we have an Excel workbook. So we will go in file, click on this particular Excel workbook, and you will click on connect. So it will ask us where is your file located. So you have to go ahead and track your file. So for me, it is in my this particular folder, and this is my file. So I will just click here and click on open, and it will take some time to load the data, right? So whenever it is open, you have to click which sheet your data is present here, right? So I will just, this is my sheet where my all data is present. So I will just check this, and you can see this is the sample data which it will provide us. Like you have to check if all the columns are there, and if like like the sample data is showing correct or not, right? So then if it is not showing correct, you have to go in this particular transform data option, and you can go ahead and check your data. And you can if you want, you can edit or clean your data over there. So for now, I will just click on load. So when I hit load option, so it will take some time to load our data, right? Depending upon the size of the data and number of rows of your data, right? All right. So when your data will be loaded, there will be three windows or three panels over here. First is the report view. So in this particular window or in this particular UI, you will be building your visuals and your dashboard. The second one which we have here is the data view. When I click on this particular data view, so this in this particular view, you will be seeing all your data, how it is looking, whether it is correct or not, and any new calculations or new columns which you will be adding into this particular sheet, those will be also reflected over here, right? And the third one is your model view, right? So this is nothing but if there are multiple tables, and how if you want to go ahead and connect them with respect to each other on primary key and foreign key. So this in this particular window, you will be joining a multiple tables, or you will be doing a data modeling. So we will see further, we will be doing the data modeling in our case. So I will go back again to our data view, and we will see if our data is correct or not. So there are some filter options pre what generated over here. So when I click on this particular drop down, you can go ahead and check over here if this particular data is correct, and if there are any blanks over here, or if null values are there, and if any something different is there, right? So you can go ahead and check each and every column, go ahead and check each and every date as well, right? So if there is any blank or what, if this particular field is also blank in junction control, junction detail, right? Everything you can go ahead and check. You can go ahead and check if there is a spelling mistake in any of this particular data, right? So there are like that, but there is a spelling mistake in any of the data, but it is having the same meaning, right? So if it has the same meaning, then we have to go ahead and change that particular data. So when I click on accident severity, so now here you can see we have three severities. One is fatal, serious, and slight. But there is an data error over here, that is fatal as an accident severity has been added, which is a typing error by the user who was typing, or who was uploading this data. So this is what we have to clean over here. So how to clean, how to convert this fetal into fatal, so that we will be having only 3 accident severity. So this is something that we will be doing in our next step of this particular project, that is data cleaning. Okay. So now how to do data cleaning in our Power BI project, right? Whenever the data is already there into our Power BI desktop, we are already called the data, right? We will be not changing our data in the data source, right? We will not go ahead and change our data in our Excel sheet, but we will change it itself here, right? We will clean our data here itself in Power BI. So for that, we will go again in our report view, and here is the small drop down. So I will just click on this drop down, so you will be available with all the options which we see here. All right. So the next thing what we have to do is you have to go in your home ribbon tab, and you have to click on here, that is transform data. So as soon as you click on this transform data, it will open us a new window and it will take us into our Power Query editor, right? So I will just click on this particular transform data option, and you can see a new window have been opened which is called as Power Query editor. So this is a kitchen of our Power BI desktop, right? So kitchen in the sense we will cook our data, we will give shape to our data, we will clean our data, everything, and then we will go back to our Power BI and we will start designing. All right. So everything, any cleaning of the data which we have to do, you have to come into Power Query Editor and you have to clean your data over here. All right. So now what we have to do is our this column, that is accident severity column, we have to convert this fetal into fatal. So how to do that? So what you have to do is select this particular total column. So all the values will be selected over here. Then you have to go in home ribbon tab, and you have an option over here that is replace values. Okay. As I will just click on these particular values, and it is asking us what you have to find and what you have to replace that particular value with, right? So what I have to find is I have to find the fetal value, right, which is a spell mistake value, and I want to replace this fetal with fatal. Okay. So this is the option which we will be using, that is replace value. I want to change fetal and replace it with a fatal. Okay, and I will just click on OK. All right. So this particular Power Query editor have done its work. Now we will check and see if our value has been completed. You can see this particular fetal value which was there, it has been vanished and it has been converted to fatal. So in this way we have cleaned our data. And if you can see in applied steps over here, so if any new user comes and if you want to see what cooking or what changes have been done into your data, what cleaning you have done, so these are the steps. So you can see value has been replaced. Okay, so if we go and see here, and if we click on here, so on this particular settings icon, he will come to know that, yeah, this particular step was performed on this particular data in Power Query editor, where you have changed this particular fetal value with respect to fatal. Okay. So this is a very good what we can say understanding to a new user or to a new developer here when he is working on your project. Okay. So what we can say, Power BI is very much organized in this particular way. So it will help a new developer also to know what are the steps applied, what were the cleaning done in this particular data. So if you are also working on some another's project, you have to check this applied steps on this particular data. All right. So now we have done our cleaning of our data. Now we have to go back to our Power BI. So how to go back? So in this case, what we will do, there is an option called here that is close and apply. Okay. So in home ribbon itself, we have a close and apply option. So when I hit on this particular button, you will come back to our Power BI, and whatever changes we have done, all the changes will be applied and your new data will be loaded again into our Power BI desktop. So the data is a bit big, so it will take some time to load your data. And once it is done, you can see your data will be loaded over here. So you can see our data has been loaded. Now we will again go to our data view, and if we can see if all the changes have been done correctly or not. So the problem was with our accident severity column. So when I click over here, you can see fetal has been vanished or it has been gone from here because we have cleaned it in our query editor. So in this similar way, you have to check all the data, right? And if you can see any changes are needed to be done, you can go ahead and change it, or you can clean it in our Power Query editor. All right. So this is our the step where we have done the data cleaning. Our next step in our project is data modeling. So in this particular step, we will be using some custom formulas, some custom DAX formulas where we will be transforming our data. So for that, we will go again back to our report view. So in one of the requirement where client have asked us to, determine the year-to-date casualties, year-on-year casualties growth, a percentage, whether they are increasing with respect to last year, and what is the percentage of increase. If they are decreasing, what is the percentage of decrease? So in that case, we have to use some time intelligence functions. And for that, we have to create a date table. So not particular for this project, if you are working for any project in future, always remember if there is a date field into your data, always create a date table, which is a custom table which we will be creating in this. And the reason behind that to create is it allow us to play with our dates where you can go ahead and determine the year to date functions, and for we will be having a new table where we can extract the year from that particular date table, we can extract month, quarters, and many more things, weeks, week numbers, month numbers, quarter numbers, likewise. And whenever you are working in any project, like you're working on sales domain, you're working on bank domain, you're working on insurance or manufacturing domain, always remember you have to create a date table. Some people called it as a calendar table as well, right? So first, what you have to do is you have to turn on your time intelligence functions, right? So you have to go into your file, then you have to go in your options and settings, and you have to go in options, right? So when you click over here, there is in current file there is one option called data load, and make sure in here that this particular time intelligence auto date and time this particular checkbox is ticked. All right. So if it is not, it will give us a problem while we are writing the calculations or while we are writing a time intelligence functions. Right. What are the time intelligence functions? If you go to our website of Microsoft Power BI help as well, the Power BI functions which are in time intelligence are like total quarter to date, total year to date, or parallel quarter to date, or the same period last year quarter to date, year to date functions, right? So wherever you are using year to date, month to date, quarter to date, anything with respect to time, always remember this is checked and you have created a date table into your model. Okay. So I will just click on OK. The next thing what we have to do is we have to create a date table or a calendar table which will be having a dates only. Okay. And we will see how it is significant over here. Right now we will go into our home first. Right now we are in home, go in this modeling ribbon, and here is option called new table. So just you have to just click over here, and I will name this particular table as calendar. Okay. So you can give any name, but for me it is a calendar which will be giving us a calendar of all the dates, and that calendar will help us to determine year to date values. Okay. So this is the calendar, and we will be using a function to determine or to make our calendar. It's calendar function. Okay. So there are multiple ways to do this, but what I do, there are two functions. I will explain these both functions to you. So when I click on calendar auto, and when I click, you can see there was a first argument which we had here is a fiscal year end month. So you have to specify here by from which month you have to start. Okay. So if I am giving a blank value, by default, Power BI will understand that we have to start with January month. If I click over here as a 1, so by default it will start with February. 1 means what? It will skip January and it will start your fiscal year with February. But we have to start for our, with respect to our, what we can say, scenario, we have to start it with January and end to December. All right. So this is important, guys. Okay. If I will show you in practical. So I will just hit enter. Okay. So when I hit enter, a new table will be created and that table will be visible over here, right? So first there was only data. A new table has been created, a calendar. And if you want to view that table, you have to go into data view. Okay. And if I click on data, in this particular, you will see all the data. When I click on calendar, you can see all this calendar. Okay. But by default, if you can see, it is starting from 1st of January 1899 and it is ending at last if you go at 31st December 2022. Okay, let's say your fiscal month or fiscal year is starting from some different date. Okay, so let's say if you want to start as in India, our fiscal year is starting from 1st of April and ending at 31st of March. And in the same way, you have to design your calendar. So what I will do to do that, January, February, March. Third is the month where March will end. I will specify 3 over here. And when I hit enter, so you can see your fiscal or this calendar is starting from 1st of April. Okay. And whenever you will be determining your year to date calculations, so you want to find year to date sales. So that year to date sales are nothing but the sales from 1st of April to 31st of March. Okay. So this is the power of calendar, guys. Okay. If there are some custom use of calendar which you have to start with some middle months or some different months depending upon your client to client, you have to use this trick. Okay, so if I click one, so it will start from February, right, in this way. But we have to start it from January. Don't mention zero over here, just keep it as blank. It will by default start your calendar with from January, and end of the your fiscal year calendar will be December 31st. All right. But you can see in this particular table, guys, the date is starting from 1899, and we don't have data itself for 1899. Why to add so many dates over here? All right. So in our data only, I have shown you we have the data from 1st January 2021 to 31st December 2022. That is for 2 years. But this particular calendar auto function is creating a date table from like so many years, like from 1899 to 2021. Like it is not necessary, right? So instead of using calendar auto, I will use another function that is calendar only. Okay, so this particular argument, it is asking us, give us the start date and end date by which you have to design your calendar, right? So in this case, you can hardcore your date also. In double inverted comma, you can give your date like 1 2021, and it should be ending with, let's say, comma, whatever date you have specifying. But we don't want to hard code, right? So whenever our data will be changing with respect to that, our calendar should also change. Like let's say accident date is there, like we will be using accident date itself to create the calendar year. So if accident date we are going in 2023, and if we are hard coding it for 2022 and 2021, this will not change, right? So it will change with respect to whatever date is entered into our accident date. So what we will do, what is the start date we want? We want it as minimum. It should be minimum of accident date, right? It should be minimum of this accident date, that is from here, right? We will close this. And second argument we want is end date. So end date is nothing but maximum of accident. So I will just mention it as maximum function, and we want as accident date from here, right? So this is the accident date. We will close our parenthesis. Okay, and as soon as I hit enter, you can see the date is starting from 1st of January 2021, and it will end at uh, 31st of December 2022. Okay, so this is our date which we have to start with. Okay, and always remember, guys, don't add unnecessary dates into our calendar or date table. All right. So we have created our date table. This is the date. All right. So in this particular date, we have to add a year as well, right? So what is the date? We have to extract the year also from here. So to do that, what we can do is, in this particular table, we have to create a new column. So there is an option in table tools here as a new column. So just click on this. So it is asking you what should be the name of this column. So I will just mention it as year, and you want to extract the year from here. So I will just click year function, and what should be the date? So this is the date we want here, right? That is calendar date. Okay, this is the calendar date which we want, right? So from here we will take this particular date, that is calendar date, and when I hit enter, you can see it is extracting year from this particular date. All right. So this is one thing which we have to determine here. We are also going to extract month from here, right? So for that, again, we will go ahead in table tools, and we will click on new column. Okay, and here we want what? Month. Here we want as month, and for month we can't use month function because it will give us a month number. So we will be using a format function over here. Format, what should be the value? Okay. So what value you have to convert here? So it is the date. So that is calendar date. This is the calendar date. Okay. And we want to convert it into format. What should be the format? If you are specifying in double inverted comma 4 times m and closing our parenthesis, it will give us the full month or the name of full month here, right? So but we don't want full month, we just want first three letters. So I will just remove one m and it should be only 3 times, and I will just hit enter. You can see it is converted into 3 times, right? So in this way we have created our calendar here, right? But if you could right now, if you can see, they are separate entities. Okay, they are not connected to each other. This is a separate table, and this is the separate custom table which we have created as a time intelligence functions to operate time intelligence functions. We call it as a date table, which is very very much important whenever you are working on any domain. If there is a date field, so we have a date field called accident date in our table, and you want to determine year to date calculations, always remember you have to create a calendar table where you specify that whether your fiscal year is starting from January or it is starting from somewhere mid. Okay, but for our case it is starting from January. So from January to December, by default it will give us the year to date. Okay, year to date is nothing but what is the date or what is the period of the year which you want to determine the values for. So this is very important to understand, guys. All right, I hope you have understood. The next thing what you have to do is we have to connect these two different tables, and this is our next step, that is data modeling in our Power BI project. So to do that, you have to go into this particular model view functions. Okay. So as soon as I click on model view, here are two tables created. Initially, I have shown you the model view. There was only data table. Now the new table which we have created in Power BI itself, that is a calendar table, which is called as a date table as well. So now what here we have to do is we have to specify, or we have to connect our these two dates. Okay. So what we have to do is I will take this particular accident date and I will take it and place it over this date. Okay. So you can see a relationship has been created over here, that is one to many. Okay. So from here, this particular date which we have, it will be a distinct date. Okay. So when I go in data view and when I click on date over here, so this particular date, every row is distinct. It is not repeated anywhere. Okay, but this particular date which we have accident date, it might be repeated. Okay, there may be an accidents which may can happen, like for today's date there may be multiple accidents happened, right? So you can see 8 April, so you can see 8 April is repeated 3 times. All right, so in this case what we have done is, so here the date will be having a unique value, but here the accident date may have multiple values, so it is connecting one to many. This have many values, this has a single value. So the cardinality which automatically Power BI determines is one to many relationship. This is the data modeling. Now, whatever operations will be performed, we will be performing on this particular date in our further calculations. Because we are already connected to this particular date here, we will be not using this date now. We will be using this date in our further calculations. So this was what? Data modeling. So after doing of our all prerequisites, creating a modeling, creating a date table, we will start our actual design and development of our dashboard. So we will go back to our report view, and this is our report view where we'll start building our visuals. So first requirement which we have, which is provided by our user and our client, is to determine the primary KPI, that is to determine the total casualties and accident for current year. Okay, and find out its year on year growth with respect to last year. So we want it to find out for current year, that is we want it to determine it up to year to date. Okay, that is from January to December, right? So our current year, in our case, the fiscal year will be for from 1st of Jan to 31st of December, which I discussed in data modeling itself and in data processing as well. So to do that, what we have to do is we have to create a custom measure to determine the year to date. So for that, I will just go on to data table, right click here and click on new measure. Okay, so this is the measure. We will name this measure as current year casualties. We want to determine current year casualties. Okay. So this is our current year casualties or year to date casualties, which is the primary KPI which we will be designing. And here we will be making use of time intelligent functions, and we will make use of this new calendar table which we have created. And we will be using this particular date. We will not use accident date because we have already created a data model where we have joined our accident date with date, right? This particular date. So this particular date will take all the values from here only, but we will be using this particular date itself for all our further calculations. So to determine year to date casualties or current year casualties, we have a function in Power BI called as total YTD. Okay, so this is total YTD. If you want to find QTD, MTD, we have the functions as well. So I will click on total YTD. So this is inbuilt function in Power BI. So it is for DAX, and there are a few arguments which it is taking. So first argument is expression. What is for which particular field you want to determine the total YTD. So we want to determine for number of casualties, and what should be the aggregation. It should be sum, and what is the field or column name which we are taking is number of casualties. So this is the column field name. We will close our bracket. Okay, and the second field we want is with respect to which date you want to determine the total YTD. So the date we will be using this particular calendar date. We will not use the accident date because it is already related with one to many relationship with respect to date. So we'll be using this date, that is calendar date. Okay, so this will be our calendar date, and I will close this particular bracket and I will hit enter. Okay, so as soon as I hit enter, you can see this particular current year casualties field have been or measure have been created over here. So now what we have to do is we have to create a KPI. So in this particular visualization tab, or if it is closed, you have to open in this way, and you can see there is one card call here, which is a KPI card. So when I just click on this, you can see a KPI card is appeared over here, and we want to add a field into this card. So what you have to do is we have to bring in the new current year casualty field which you have created. Either you can just tick over here likewise. Okay, so it will give us the field value over here, or you can just take this and drag it over into the fields. Okay, so you can see this is our current year casualties field which has been created over here. So now we will do some formattings on this. So I will just go, I will select this visual. So if you are not selecting visuals, you can see some of the options are vanished from here. So you have to click on this visual and you can see this particular format your visual option has been created. And in callout value, I will just click over here, and this is the display. What should be the display unit? If you want to change it to thousand, millions, billions, or trillions, you can do that. And if you want to change the decimal points, you can do it here. So I will just click and show it for one decimal point. So we'll be showing it for one decimal point. So exact or almost approximate figure we will get, that is 195.77k casualties have been created for this year. Okay, that is for 2022 year. It will not show for 2021 because we have used total YTD function. If I take this particular, if show, I will show you a new card. Okay, let me show you the new card, and I will show you what are the total figures. So I will just take this and put it over here. So if we can see 418k are sum of number of casualties of total year for 2021 and 2022. So this is the total figure, but we want it for current year itself. So this is the current year figure which we have determined by using a total YTD function. All right. So for now I will just delete this. Now we have already created a KPI, but we have to also bring our background for this particular dashboard in Power BI so that we can start making our dashboard and start placing our KPIs in the dashboard simultaneously as we are designing the charts as well. So if I show you the dashboard first, and let me show you the dashboard. So the background which we have used here, the background has been created in our PowerPoint. So I will show you how to create, and I will give you an overview how it is created. So if you can see, this is the background which we will be using. So I have created a separate video on how to create a background. So I will add the link in the description. You can go ahead and watch this. And for now, you can directly use this background and import it into our Power BI. So it is not that much difficult to create such backgrounds. So this is and layout of the background how I have created. I have taken one big shape, then I have divided it into small shapes, and I have created it's in a such a way that it will be holding a containers where my KPIs and my other sheet will be placed. All right. So the background which I have created. So this is the background which I have used. I have also created some samples for you as well with different color combinations. Whichever you like, you can go ahead and use it into your dashboard or in your project. If you want to use some custom colors, you can do that as well. I will show you how to do that. So first you have to click on to this particular shape, right click and click on format shape. Okay. And you have to go in fill options and you have to go in the gradient fill. So this is the first gradient stop and the second gradient stop at two extreme ends. The first we have used the black color and second I have used, so first I have used the blue color and second I have used the dark color and at 10% of transparency for both the ends. So in this way you can create your own background colors as well. And the link I will mention in the link for this particular file to download as well, and the link for the video as well on how to create dashboards or the background for the dashboards. All right. So now for now I will be using directly this one, so that how to use this. So you have to go into file and you have to click on save as, and you have to find a folder for you first. I will be using this particular folder, and in this folder you have to save this particular file as an JPG file. Okay, so you have here a JPG option. This in this format file you have to save it. I will name it as dashboard or background for road accident. Okay, I will mention it as a road accident, and we have to just click on save. Then it will ask you if you want to export this particular this slide or all the slides into a converted image. So I just want this particular slide. I will just click on this one. Then you will go back to our Power BI. So make sure no sheet is selected. You just have to click outside. Then you have to go into this format your report page. Okay. In this particular option, you have different options are there, and in that you have a canvas background. Canvas background is nothing but this particular background which you have to you see here. You have to do that. So you can use colors as well. Okay, so this is the color which we have used. If you don't want to use color, then you can go ahead and choose an image from here which I have created already from a PowerPoint. So this is the image which I have created, that is background for road accidents. I will just open this, and this is been shown over here. In your case it will be not shown because it is a transparency in your case is 100%. So it will even if you have bought this image into your visualization, but the transparency is 100%, so it is not showing for you. You have to reduce this transparency to 0%, so that this particular image is visible for you into your Power BI. So there are different multiple options as well. If you want to do some settings on this particular what we can say canvas background which we have added. So there is one more option here called as canvas settings. So I will just explode it. So what I will happen is there here is an option called as vertical alignment. So right now if you can see, it is by default at top, means what, there is a white space over here. So when I go ahead and click it on middle, so you can see it will come into a middle and it will give us the even space from the top and bottom side, right? So I will just keep it on middle right now, and it will be looking nice for us to design, right? So this is what we have designed our, or we have bought our background into picture as well. The next thing what we have to do, I will just start placing our key API into here in this particular size perfectly. So I will just place it over here, and I will reduce this size, and I will make sure that it is perfectly fit into this particular window. Okay, then I will select this particular visual, go to our format visual. Then in callout values we will change this to 40. I will choose 40 as my font size. Then I will make this as white color. Okay, and you can see it is not seeing right now here. And when first, then you have to go in general tab here. After visual you have to go in general tab, you have to go in effects, and in background you have to turn off this background. Okay, so this particular number is visible right now. All right, then we will go back to our visual again, and will in this particular category label. So current year casualties is shown below the number. So I don't want this. So I will just turn off this, and then we will go again back to general. And in effects here, I will add, or in title, I will add the title over here. Just I will just turn this on, and we will be using our custom title here. That is total current year casualties. Okay, so this is my custom title, and for this I will be using a font as This will be my font, that is Sagio UI semi bold, and the font size which I will be using is 13, and I will align it as center, and the color for this should be again this particular 10% darker white. All right, so this is our KPI. So I will just make it a little up. All right, so this is our first KPI which we have added over here. The next thing which we have to add is, as per our requirement, is year on year growth also we have to determine. All right, so to determine the year on year growth, we have to also determine the previous year casualties calculation. Okay, because the formula to determine the year on year growth is current year casualties minus previous year casualties total divided by the previous year casualties. So to use this formula, first we have to determine the previous year casualties. So we will follow the same procedure over here. You have to right click on this particular data, and you have to table, and you have to click on new measure. And in this case, our new measure will be previous year casualties. We will name it as previous year casualties. All right. So now, as we have seen, to determine current year casualties, we have inbuilt function called year to date. Okay, but in this case we will be using some custom functions, and so for that I will be using a first DAX function, that is calculate. Okay, so we have to use a calculate, then it is asking us the first argument as expression. So we want it for sum of, okay, we will be using an aggregation of sum for number of casualties. Okay, so we want to previous year for number of casualties, we will close this bracket. Okay, and we want the second casualties where that it should be filtered on what, right? We want to filter it on what? So this here we will be using one more function that is called as a same period last year. Okay, so same period last year is nothing but this is a time intelligence function, which I have discussed initially. So what does time intelligence function do? Same period last year means for the same period which we have used for year to date, the same period last year will be used for previous year to date, and it will give us the output here, right? So we will use same period last year, and we will be using here as a calendar date. The date which we will be using is a calendar date again, because we have converted and we have maintained a relationship between them in data modeling. So this is our calendar date, and I will close this bracket, and one more we will close the bracket for the this bracket, right? And we'll just click enter. Okay, so you can see a new field has been created over here, and when I click on this, you can see, and I will convert this into a card. Okay, so this is 222k is the last year's casualties, right? So we don't want this to be shown into our visualization, we want year on year growth. So I will just delete this for now, and now I will create one more measure over here, and it will be used to determine year on year casualties. So this is what year on year casualties. Okay, and formula is very simple. I will add a external parenthesis over here, open parenthesis, sum of, or we have already used the sum, so we will be using direct total current year casualties. Okay, so we will be using current year casualties minus previous year casualties. Okay, current year casualties minus previous year casualties divided by previous year casualties. Okay, so this will be our formula to determine year on year. So this is a universal formula. Every time we calculate the year on year growth in this way only. Press enter. All right. And next we will again take one more card from here. I will just click on this, and I will take it at center. And a new field has been created, year on year casualties. I will just take this and put it into fields. So you can see we have got a 12% or minus 12% as year on year growth. Okay, but this particular field right now is not converted into percentage. So how to do that? Okay, so this is the field which at the bottom last you can see, it is the field which we have created. Click on that field. Okay, so when you click on this particular field, you can see there is a formatting options has been activated over here. Okay, you can, these are the different options. You can go into measure tools. Okay, you have to go in measure tools, and this is the options which we have here. And here is the percentage symbol. You just have to click on this percentage symbol. And how much decimal points we want? We want only one decimal point, so we will click here one. All right, then we have to format this as well. So I will just click on this, go to our format visuals, and in callout value we will choose this the value, what we can see, the font size for this as 14, and, 14 pixels, and the size for this as 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 14 p we don't want the category label to be shown over here. Then we will go in general, go to effects and turn off the background. Okay. Again back we will go to visuals and we will change the callout value color of this particular value color, and we will change it to this particular color. Okay. And we will make it as bold. All right. Now we will adjust it into our KPI card. So we'll just make it a smaller. Try to place it over here. Perfect. So in this way, we have created our first KPI. So what does this value indicate? Or if you want to create an insight from here, so very good insight which we can create from here is, as with respect to last year, the current year, what we can see, this particular number has been reduced. So it is reduced by minus 11% or almost 12%. So it is a good thing, right? In this particular case or in this particular project, it is a good thing because the number of casualties are reduced. Okay, number of accidents are reduced. So it is a good thing for government and all our users. So they will try to reduce this number more towards what we can say 50% or 60%, right? So they are going what we can say, if it is decreasing, it is a good way, right? It is a good thing. Now what we have to do, we have to create the other KPIs as well. So here what we will do, I will select this visual and press Ctrl on your keyboard and select this visual. All right, right click here and group this. Okay, so when I click on this, you can see this has been grouped as a single visual. And now what we have to just do is, I will just Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Okay, and I will take this visual and I will take it, place it over here. All right, so once every formatting is done, we don't have to do formatting again and again, right? The next thing what we have to determine as per our requirement is to determine total accidents, right? So if I go to our particular sheet over here, so next one is casualties we have determined. Next we have to determine the total accidents, right? So now to determine that, what we have to do, we have to follow same procedures. We have to determine same calculations, that is for current year casualties we will find it for current year accidents, and we will find it for current that is previous year accident and year on year accident. So we will follow the same procedures. What I will do, I will just click on this particular current year casualties. Okay, or we will create a new calculation there. So you can click on anywhere in the into this particular field. Okay, and you can just click here new measure. Right click, you have to right click and you have to click on new measure, and I will name this as current year accidents. All right, so we will be using, for current year we will be using total function, right? That is total YTD functions, sum of expression, right? So now in this case, the value which we will be using here is, so how to determine the current year, I will show it in you in the data view. So I will just close this first and I will go into data view. So in data view, how to determine the number of accidents? So the number of accident is nothing but each, what we can say, each accident index, what we have seen here, this particular column has a unique value on each row. Okay, so each row have a unique value. So what we will be doing is, we will calculate the count of this particular index, that is nothing but our accident number. So we will go back to our report view. Again I will create a measure. I will name it as current year accidents. All right, and we will be using a total YTD function. So in expression we used for casualty, it was sum, but here we will be using count as a function. So I will use count function, and we want to count accident index. Okay, we have to calculate count the counts accident index. I will close the bracket, comma, with what dates we have to use. So we will be using this particular date, calendar date, as I told you before. So it will be calendar date, and I will close this parenthesis and just click on enter. So it mentions that current year accident is already created. So the last right now which we have created that. So I will just current year accident, I will name it as current year accident count. Okay, enter. So it has been created. So the current year accident which right now before I have created, that is something which I have to delete from here first. So I'll just right click on this particular three dots. So select this, and on these three dots you can go ahead and you have to delete from this particular model. Just click on yes. So we'll be using this particular current year accident counts. So now we have to show current year accident counts over here. So what you have to do, you have to select this particular visual, right? So it, as it is grouped, you can say when I click on first, when I click on first time, nothing is shown over here. So to select this particular visual, you have to double click over here, right? So once you double click, this particular visual will be selected, and you can see current year casualties. This is the number what we are showing here. So I will just delete this. We don't want to show this. We want current year accident count, so we will take it and place it over here. So this is our current year accident count. The next what we will calculate is previous year accident, because we want to determine year on year growth. So for the same, again we will right click over here, create a new measure, and we will name it as previous year accidents. All right. And for previous year accidents, we will be using again a calculate function, and expression is nothing but we will be using an aggregation as count, and it will be counting accident index, okay, because it is a unique row, unique column for us, having each row having a different value, comma. We will be using the function again same period last year, and the date we will be using is a calendar date, and we will close the bracket 2 times and press as enter. All right, so now we have to calculate again year on year growth. Okay, so I will just again right click anywhere, create a new measure. All right, and we will name it as year on year accidents. All right, and now what we have to do here is we will create a bracket here, current year accident counts minus previous year accidents, and we will divide it by previous year accidents. Okay, and just press enter. Okay, so you can see a new field has been created, that is previous year accidents. Now we have to replace this particular value with respect to that. So again, you have to double click on this particular value. So one click only, this grouped what we can say value or this particular container will be selected, because we have grouped this. You have to double click on this. Okay, so when you double click on this, you can see this is this card will be activated, and right now it is year on year casualties. So I will just delete this. You can take year on year accidents and place it over here. Okay, so you can see this is what year on year accidents. It is also 12% almost, but you have to convert it into percentage, proper percentage. So select this particular field, that is year on year accidents, go to measure tools, convert this to, click on this percentage, and convert this to 1 decimal points. Okay, so this is your second requirement, that is primary KPIs, and from this also you can get an insight that it is decreased, the total accidents have been decreased by 11%, right? Now we have to change this title as well. So double click over here again, so this particular visual will be selected. So once you double click, you have to go into format your visual. Okay, so once you go on format your visual, go in general, go in title, and change this to, instead of current year casualties, we will name it as current year accidents. All right, so this two KPIs has been created. Next, again what we will do, I will just select this. Okay, if you click once all this visual externally, it will be selected both the visuals. When you double click, individual visuals will be selected. So I have grouped it purposefully, because whenever you are changing its position, both will be grouped, and they will be changing their position, right? So what I will do, I will just click one single click, I will just press Ctrl C, and I will create one more instance. Okay, and I will place it over here. Okay, just bring it at center. By selecting and using your arrow keys also, you can move your visuals. Okay, so now what we have to change here is, now we have to determine, as per our next requirement, we have to determine the total casualties by accident severity, and those also for current year and year on year growth. Okay, so now this is total current year casualties. Now we want to determine casualties with respect to accident severity. Now this is very simple. So total, we have the total casualties for year to date. So we just, I will double click on this particular visual. I will open the filters as well over here, because we will be using a filter over here. We have a current year casualties, but just we have to filter it, and we have to show it for accident severity of fatal. Okay, first we will show it for fatal. So what we will do, we will take this severity and we will place it over here. So this means what, it will be filtered only for this visual. If you put it over here, it will be filter for all this particular page. And if you put this particular accident severity into this particular panel, so it will be filtered for, it will be used for all the pages which you will be going to create in future. Okay, so you have to create only for this visual. So filter on this visual, you have to take the accident severity and you have to put it over here. Okay, so you can see this has been created. So I will just click on fatal. So you can see it will give us only for fatal. Similarly, I will just double click on to this year on year as well, because this is also we have to change. We have to use this also. We have to add a filter on this also. So I will take again accident severity and I will put it on this particular filter and you will choose it for fatal. So you can see we have got all these values because we are showing fatal casualties only. We don't need to create a new calculation. We just have to add the filter over here. All right. So this is casualties for current year on fatal severity, and we have to now change the title. Okay. So I will just double click onto this visual. Okay. So this particular card will be selected. Go into your format visual, go into general, and we will change the title. Instead of current year, total current year casualties, I will name it as current year fatal casualties. Okay, so this is my current year fatal casualties. I will just click on outside. Perfect. So in this way, we have created our second visual. Right, that is third KPI. Then again, I will copy this. Select only once you have to click on this. So it will be selected as a group value. Control C, Control V, and I will place it over here. Perfect. All right. So now next, what we have to find it for serious casualties. Okay. Again, I will double click onto this visual. Open your filter panel. Okay. And if you can see here, accident severity we already have here. So you just have to click open this particular or explode this, and instead of fatal you have to just select your serious. Okay, so these are serious casualties. Similarly, I will just double click on this and I will just open this, and instead of serious for this particular year on year growth, we will change it to from fatal we will change it to serious. Okay, so these are your serious casualties. All right. Similarly, again I will just copy this and paste it, and we will create one more instance and we will place it over here. Okay, again double click onto this particular card. Okay, here double click on this card and change the filter again. Okay, instead of serious we will use now slide. And similarly on year growth, double click over here, and instead of this serious we will change it to slide. Perfect. And we have to change the titles of this also. So double click on this, go to format visuals. In general, you have to change the title. Instead of fatal, this will be serious. And similarly double click on this as well and change it to, instead of fatal will be slight. Perfect. Right. So in this way we have created our primary KPIs. So if you can see, observe this particular number, it is not showing in the format of our thousands. So I will just double click on this. Okay, we have to select this visual, double click on this particular visual, go to our format your visual, go into call out values, and instead of auto choose here as thousands. Okay, so you can see it has converted to display on it as 1,000. All right, so this in this way we have created our primary KPIs. All right, so we have created our KPI, but for the last three KPIs I will show you what are the insights from here. The fatal casualties are nothing but during an accident who are very seriously injured or badly injured. Those are our fatal casualties. Serious are nothing but who are less than fatal but more than slight, somewhat they are also badly injured itself. A slight is nothing but they have just caught up in an accident, but those are not badly injured or they have just got small injuries, right? So these are subdivided into this accident severity. And with respect to that, you can see fatal casualties are around 3,000, then serious are around 27, and slight are 165. So these are not like the figures, if you can see with respect to last year, those are decreasing. Okay, so fatal have decreased 33%. So it is a good thing. This serious have been decreased the 16%. Okay, so in this case, if they are decreasing, this is a good thing for a user or for us people as well, that road accidents are decreasing. All right, so this was an insight from here. The next thing what we have to add over here is the dashboard title. So we will add a dashboard title. For that, you have to go into Home tab, and there is a text box over here. So I will just click on text box, and this text box will be generated. So I will just click over here, and I will type that it as road accident analysis. Okay, and I will select this particular all this particular thing. I will name it as Sergio. What I can say, I will change the font to DIN this particular font, and I will change this particular to 36. I will use 36 as my font size. Okay, and I will make it as bold. Okay, and I will just increase this. All right, and we will place it over here. Okay, so you can take it and place it over at the top. All right, then select this particular what I can say, this particular text box. You have to select this text box and you have to go into this format, and you have to go in effects, and you have to say none for this background. Okay, then you can just increase the bit size, and you can select this particular totals, or what we can say, text, and then you have to go into this format colors, and you will choose this particular color. All right, and just click outside. So this will be our title of this particular dashboard. The next what we have to use here is, or we have to design as per our requirement. If you go ahead and see the requirement which we have here. Okay, so this is the requirement. We will be designing our secondary KPIs, where it says that total casualties with respect to vehicle type for current year. Okay, so this is the casualties or vehicle with respect to vehicle type. We determine casualties, and those also with respect to current year only. Okay, so we will go back to our dashboard over here, and here we will be designing it. So now if we can see, we have a vehicle type field in our visualization. So if I bring this particular vehicle type and directly place it over here, so if we can see, there are multiple vehicle types available here. All right, so you can see there are more than or 10 to 15 vehicle types are there, but we want to only show 6. Okay, that is, if I show you our previous dashboard, and this is our dashboard, you can see only 6 particular vehicle types we have shown over here. So what we have to do is we have to use a group function over here. So I will go back to our dashboard, and what I will do, I will just delete this for now, or I will just keep it as it is. And what I have to do is I have to group some of these particular vehicle types and consolidate it into one. Okay, so I will just right click on this particular vehicle type. You have to right click on this vehicle type, and you have to click on new group. Okay, so this particular dialog box will be opened. So what we will be doing here is, whatever all the motorcycle, we will add it into one category. So I will just select this motorcycle, press Ctrl on your keyboard, select this, select all the motorcycles as well as the pedal cycle. Okay, because it is a type of, it comes in cycle or motorcycle itself. And I will group this. Okay, so you can say a group of this has been created. I will double click on this, and I will change the name to bike. Okay, so this is my bike group. The next I will create a car group. So this is my one first group into this, and first member of the group. And taxi also is a car type, so I will choose this also as a car type, and I will group this, and I will name it as car. Okay, so this is one group. Then bus and minibus, I will add these two into one group. So I will just group this, and I will double click, and I will name it as bus group. All right. Then goods vehicle, that is this one, and vans, I will add this into one group. So goods vehicle 7 tons, 3 tons, and 3 tons above or under. Okay, so I will just group this one. Okay, and this will be named as van. Okay, all right. So then the ridden horse and other vehicle. Okay, these two I will add in another group, and I will name it as others. Okay, so this is my other group because we don't have any information on this. So this is my other group. And agriculture vehicle itself is, I will keep it as a single one member into this group, and I will click on group, and I will name it as, or we will keep the name at agriculture, and I will just remove the vehicle. I will name it as only agricultural. Okay, so these are our groups. I will just click on OK. And if you can see, when I bring this particular into visualization, I will take this and bring here. Okay, you can see. Okay, so these particular vehicles, and I will just place this after this. All right, so if you can see, agriculture is this, car will be car, and car will be also having taxi, van will be having this, and van also having this particular rights. So in this way we have created the groups. Now we will go ahead and create our secondary KPI. So for now I will just remove this. Okay, so now to create an secondary KPI, here we have an particular visual called multi-row card. Okay, so you have to select this multi-row card. So this will be appeared over here. The next thing what you have to do is, we have to take the vehicle type new group created. Take this and put it into fields. Okay, so you can see all this have been added over here. And in front of them, what you have to show is current year casualties. Okay, so we don't have to create a calculation. We have already created the measure over here. So I will take this current year casualties, and I will place it below this particular thing. Okay, you have to place it below, just place it over here. Okay, so it is under this particular vehicle type. So you can see this card has been created over here. I will just extend it a bit. All right. So this is the card which we have created. But if you can see the current year casualties, it is repeating every time. We don't want to repeat because we will be mentioning it in title itself that these are the current year casualties. So what we will do, select this visual, go to into our format visual, and in category label, just turn this off. You can see it has been gone from here. So I will just make it small and a bit bigger, and we will try to place it over here. Okay, make it a bit bigger, more. All right. So now what we have to do is we have to format this particular visual. So what I will do, I will select this visual. Then you can go into this particular format your visual. And in callout values, what we have to do here is we have to change this to, I will change the font to DIN. Okay. I will have changed the values font to DIN, and I will choose this font size as 20, and I will make it as bold. Okay. And in cards I will go, okay, so in cards, instead of giving a blue color to this, I will change this, and I will choose the font for this as Sergio UI semi bold. Okay. And I will change this particular color, that is blue color, to this particular things. I will change this to, and I will go in more colors, and I will use my own color custom code over here, hashtag 19D20C. Okay, so this will be my color code, and I will just, as you can see, color has been added, and I will increase the font size to 14. All right. So this is, and I will also make it as bold, or if it, yes, okay. If not also bold, you can convert this also to DIN only. I will convert this to DIN, and I will make it as bold. Okay, so this looks good. All right. So we will just adjust it properly over here. Okay, and we will take it a bit down. All right. So this looks nice. Next, what we have to do, we have to hide this background. Okay. So select this, go to general and go to effects and turn on the background. Next, you can see this font color. We have to change the font color of this value. So again, go to visual, and from here in callout values, okay, you have to go in callout values, and from here instead of black, we will choose this 10% dark. Okay, so we have chosen this font. Okay, just close this everything. All right, and you can go in cards. Okay, you have to open the card, and in accent bar go down. So accent bar is nothing but, see, these vertical bars you can see, which divides this particular KPIs. Okay, so instead of width 2, I will use width as 3. Okay, you can increase the width, right? You can see this width has been increasing. Instead of every anything, I will choose as 3 as a font for me. So you can see I've placed all these values over here. So now next what we have to do is I will just adjust them properly. We have to add the images of each and every particular vehicles over here. Okay, so to do that, what we have to do is I will go in insert over here in insert tab and click on image over here. Okay. And you can see I have added already these images. I will put this particular folder in the description box where you can download and you can use these images. So these images are downloaded from Google. You can get different images as well. Just make sure you are downloading the PNG image, that is transparent background image. Okay. So I will first add it for tractor image for a agriculture vehicle. So this is a tractor image. I will just reduce it somewhat. I will place it over here. Okay. And you can, by arrow keys, you can adjust it properly. So in this case, in this way, again I will go in home, and I will again go in insert, add an image, and I will add it for bike. So I will be using this image, and I will reduce it, place it over here. All right, so in this way what I will do, I will add all the images, and I will just fast forward this video, so we will save our time in this. Okay, so in the same way you have to add all the pictures over here. All right, so after placing all the images, we will add a title also. So for this, I will just take a text box, and I will add it as a casualties by vehicle type. Okay, casualties by vehicle type. Okay, so select this entire visual. Okay, and go ahead and change this to 13. or 11 is fine. And Sergio, I will choose this as Sergio UI and make it as bold. Okay, and select this particular visual. Try to increase the size. Okay, just place it over here. Right, and then you can go into this particular format. After selecting this, go to format. In effects, you have to just turn on the background and select this entire and choose as white color. All right, so this is what casualties by vehicle type. So if you can see from this particular visual or from this particular secondary KPI, what are the insights from here? So you can see that car is one particular vehicle type which is creating maximum number, or which is maximum number of accidents are occurred due to car type, or what we can say a vehicle type, and maximum number of accidents are also done by this, so the casualties are so high. All right, so in this way we have to take a care in such a way that four wheelers should be drive properly. There should be norms and regulations for four wheelers in such a way that the accidents can be reduced, and in turn the number of casualties will also reduce. All right, so we have placed our primary and secondary KPIs. Then now we will go ahead and prepare our other charts. The next chart as per our requirement which we have to design here is the area chart for current year and previous year monthly trend. So I will show you the requirement document first. So this is the requirement, that is monthly trend showing comparison of current year casualties for current year versus previous year. All right, so we will come back to our dashboard, and here we will be designing that particular chart. Okay, so we will in visualization I will just open this and I will choose here from area chart. You just have to click on area chart. I will bring it into center. All right, so we need some particular fields in x-axis, y-axis, and legends, or all other particular what we can say holders. So in x-axis, what we want on x-axis is month. Okay, so month we have already created one, the calendar which we have already created. In that particular we have already created a month year or the month column. So I will just take this and I will put it into x-axis. So this month has been added over here. Next, on y-axis, what we want is the number of casualties. So we want current year and previous year. So we will not use this particular created measures. We will just use inbuilt measure, that is this particular measure, that is number of casualties. I will take it and will put it into y-axis. Okay. So you can see a single line chart has been created which is showing us the casualties with respect to what we can say month. But what I will do, we want to separate this particular 2 years chart, right? We want 2 years different trend line. So I will go ahead and I will go into this particular date. Okay, what I will do, I will take this particular date and put it into legends. Okay, so as soon as you put it into legends, your chart is somewhat disturbed. But what we can do here is, there is a small drop down over here. Click on this particular drop down and create a date hierarchy over here. And in that date hierarchy, it is taking by default year as this particular hierarchy. So what have been created, this particular chart has been created which is showing the 2021 and 2022 years casualties. Okay, so we have to add it into this particular placeholder. So just take it and add it in this particular holder. I will make use of arrow keys this way, this way. Perfect. So now what we have to do, we have to format this chart. So to format this chart, select this chart, then go to our format visuals. Okay, and in x-axis, what I will do, I will just explode this axis. Okay, and we don't want title over here. We just want this particular numbers, because title will be mentioned in our chart title itself. So I will just turn off this for x-axis. Similarly for y-axis also, I will turn off the title. Okay, then we will go into general, and in this particular general, in effects, we will turn off our background. Okay, so now background has been turned on. Now what we can see here is we have to format this chart very much. Okay, so go back to visual. Okay, and in grid lines, we don't want grid lines as well, so go to grid lines and turn this off. Okay, next what we have to do here is, we don't want legend over here. We will be showing the legend in different way. Turn off the legend. We don't want the y-axis also, secondary y-axis, we don't want that as well. The next thing, I will just convert this x-axis and y-axis labels to white color. So click on x-axis, and in this particular, in color, choose this as color that is 20% darker. Similarly, we will go in y-axis also, and in y-axis choose these values, and in values we will change the color to 20% darker. Okay, and we have to change the title of this chart as well. So I will just go in general, and in this particular title option we will change this to current current year casualties versus previous year casualties monthly trend. Right, select all, and or not required to select all, and we will change this to the font we will change it to Studio UI semi bold, and we will choose as 11 as a font, or 12 is fine for us, and we will make it as this color that is 10% darker. Okay, or we will reduce it as 11. Okay, so this is, we will keep consistency. All right, then next I will again select this, and we have to show which particular line is for 2021 and which is for 2022. Select this visual, go to format visual, and in visual you have to go down, and there is a series label option over here. Just explore this. Okay, and turn it on. Okay, so you can see series label options has been activated over here. Next, what we have to do is we have to go in values over here, and we have to convert this into Sagio UI semi bold. 9 is the value color which we want, and we will change the color to yellow. Okay, so you can see this line is for 2021 and below line is for 2022. The very important point over here, if you can observe this particular trend line or this area chart, this particular chart is starting from April and ending at September, but as per our fiscal year it should start from January and end it to December. So why this is happening, what is happening here guys, is by default Power BI is applying the sorting with respect to alphabetical in ascending order, right? So you can see it is applied alphabetically, but we don't want it alphabetically. We want it with respect to the months, the flow of month, that is from January to December. Now this is very important guys. So how to convert this into sorting? So in Power BI it is a bit tricky to convert this particular into sort. So for that, what we have to do, you cannot go ahead from this particular sort axis and sort it with respect to month, or if you can sort it with respect to ascending or descending. If you see in descending, it will start from September. Means what, it is starting from descending with respect to the what we can say alphabeticals. To do this, what we have to do is, first I will again go ahead and choose it with respect to descending, sorry, with respect to ascending. So this was our original chart. One second. Okay, so this was our original chart, that is starting from April and ending with September. Now we have to change this. How to change this guys? To make this custom sort, we have to go into our tables, right? In data view we have to go in our data view. Okay, and in particular data view we will go in calendar. Okay, so this is sheet we are showing, click on calendar. So this is the calendar table which we have created. So in this case we will create one more column over here. So click on new column and name it as month number. Okay, we will name it as month number, and we will type, or we will use a formula over here is as month. Okay, we will use this particular month formula, and we want to extract the month from particular date, that is from calendar date. Okay, and close this parenthesis. And what will this do guys, this particular month function will give the month number of this particular date. So when, as soon as I hit enter, you can see the month number has been created, and it is giving the one as number for January. So when we go in February or March, the 4th of March will have a 3 as a number, right? In this way we are going down, for each month it will give us the number. Now go back to our report view. Now what we have to do, we have to sort this particular month column. So now go ahead and select this month column. Okay, so this month column we have to sort it with the month number. So go and select this, and here you have an option called sort column. Okay, after selecting, go in column tools, there is an option called sort. Click on this and sort it with month number. Okay, so you can see, as soon as I click on this, you can see our visual has been sorted from January, February, March to December. So what it has done guys, this particular month, these numbers or this month from January to December are sorted with respect to month. and it is sorted in ascending order, that is January as first position and December as last position, and in respective way we have sorted this. So next we need to change the color of this particular area chart. So I will go ahead and select this area chart, go to format your visuals, and in this particular visual option you have a lines as an option over here. So drop down it, and you can see there is an option for line over here, and in that we have one more option called as color. So open this, and for 2022 I will use blue as a color. Okay, and for 2021 we will change this to this particular color. Right. So this is our for 2021 and 2022, which is giving us the idea of what we can say current year and the previous year casualties monthly trend. The next, as per our requirement document, we will design our other sheets. That is, we have to create the donut charts. First, we will create the donut charts, and then we will go ahead with the other charts. So for the donut charts, we need to show with respect to urban and rural the number of current year casualties, and same for the light conditions in this particular container for current year casualties. So for donut chart, we have a card over here. So I will just click on this particular card. I will take it to center, and we need to add a legend over here. So in legend, I will take the urban and rural area, and I will just place it over into this legend. And we want to show the current year casualties. So take this particular current year casualties and put it into the values. You can see this particular urban and rural area has been created. So I will just place this particular chart perfectly in this particular container which we have designed. All right, perfect. Now what we will do, we will have to format this visual. So to select this visual, go into format visual. And in legend, we don't want to show any legends. We will be showing everything into our details tab only. So in data details, we want it outside, but we want to show the category and the percentage of total. So I will just select category and percentage. So urban, rural, and its percentage will be shown over here. Then we will go in general, and we will just hide this background, go in effects and turn off the background. All right, now we will format the other things. We will format the title first. So it is the current year casualties by urban or rural. So I will just change this to urban slash rural, and we will choose the font as semi bold, and we will change it to 11. Okay, and make it as white, 10% darker. All right, the next we have to change in visual as well. So in this particular details what we are showing here, we have to change the values as well for this, and we will take it as white. All right, so this is our donut chart, and the next what we have to do is we have to change the colors as well. So what we can do is in rotation, if you want, you can change the rotation also if it is not perfectly fitting over here. So for now the labels are correctly showing, so I will not change the rotation for this. The next I will go in the slices, or in the slices tab, and in slices tab you have a spacing option over here. So I will just reduce this spacing, or I will just increase the spacing to 70% or 65%. Okay, so this is the spacing which I will be using, and I will change the colors for this as well. So I will just change this color. For urban I will be using an custom color, so go in more colors, and I will use a different color code over here. So hashtag I will be using AD, A capital D 5129. Okay, so this will be my color. All right, and for this particular thing I will be using this color. All right, this one, that is third color for blue, that is 20% lighter. So this is for urban and rural. So same we will be using, and you will be drawing it for the light condition. So I will just control C this particular, select this particular, control C and control V, and we will take it same as it is downward. Okay, let's try to increase the size in this way. All right, the next thing we have to change this for light conditions. Okay, so I will just select this visual, and I will remove the urban and rural area, and we have a light conditions over here. So this is the light conditions field. I will take it and put it into legends. But you can see there are multiple options available for light conditions over here. So we want only for dark and light. Okay, or for day and night. So what we will do, we will change this particular light conditions, and we will group some values. So I will just right click on this, and I will click on group. Okay, and I will create a new group. So we have a daylight over here, but all the dark I will just consolidate and add it into one group, and I will name it as dark. Okay, or you can mention it as night as well. And for daylight, I will just group and I will name it as day. Okay, it is with respect to light conditions at day and at dark, what are the number of casualties? I will just click on OK. So this new field has been created. So just I will remove this particular and I will add this particular into legend. So you can see with respect to day and dark, we have got our casualty values. All right. Now we will be changing the color for this and title. All other things are same only. So I will go in our slices and I will change the color over here, and I will choose the color for the day as the different one as this. Okay, or we can choose it as this particular color. Oops, this one. Okay, and for dark I will change it to this one. Perfect. Okay, so this will be our color combinations for day and dark. As for day you can use more lighter color, but with respect to our background it will not suit, it will be very much eye catching. So we have used this color combination. You can use any other color combination which you want over here. All right, and we have to change the title as well for this. Go in general and change the title casualties by light condition. Okay, and just we will remove the current year. We don't want to show your CY. Okay, we'll just remove it. Similarly from here as well we will remove the current year. All right, so casualties by rural area, casualties by light conditions. So I'll just change the title as light conditions. Okay, so second last chart which we need to add here is the with respect to road type. Okay, what we can say casualties, current year casualties with respect to road type, and it is a bar chart. So we will choose a stack bar chart from here. All right, I will take it over here, and on y-axis I will on x-axis first I will take the road type. Okay, so I will take the road type and I will put it on x-axis. All right, and on yeah, on y-axis we will add the road type. Sorry, so take the road type and put it on y-axis, and take current year casualties and put it on y-axis. Okay, so you can see this is the way we have created this chart. So I will just try to place it in this container. Okay, increase the size of this. Perfect. All right. So next what we will do, we have to format this. Select this particular chart type. Go to our format visuals. Go in general. First we will hide all the background. Then go to our visual, and in, we don't want to show x-axis and y-axis because title and the chart itself is self-explanatory. So I will just turn off both these, and on grid lines also we have turned this off. And the data labels, we want to show the data labels over here, the numbers for this, and just drop down this and make that particular data label values as white. Okay, so this is the way we are going to show our data labels. On x-axis we have to show we have to turn actually on the x-axis, sorry, not the x-axis, on y-axis, because we need to show the road types. Just we don't want this particular axis title on this, so I will just drop down this particular y-axis and you can see title is there. We'll just turn off this title. Okay, and on y-axis this particular values which we are visible over here, we will just go ahead and change the color to white. Okay, so you can see we have converted this to white, and similarly we will go in general and we will change the title over here. So it will be casualties by road type. Okay, and we will make it to Sejo semi bold 11 as a font and color as white. This white. Right. Okay, perfect. Similarly, I guess this font is some bigger. I will just change the font this to 11, or this as well 11. Perfect. So now we have created our this chart as well, and we need to change the color of this bar. So select this particular chart, go to our visuals, and in bars you can see here you can change the color from here, and I will choose this particular color. All right, so this is what we have created our bar chart. So now we will see some insights from here. So if you can see from this particular donut chart, urban is the area or the locations from urban area they are causing more number of casualties and more number of accidents, right? So government need to focus on urban areas. The rural area is also contributing to maximum, but more focus should be there on urban area. Similarly, if you see in, daylight conditions, more accidents are daylight. Some amount of are there in less in dark. Why? Because not all the peoples or so many peoples drive at night time, so most of them are at daylight time only, right? And if you can see at the road type, okay, road type is nothing but, if you can see, the single carriageway is nothing but a one line, one way, or we can say single lane road. Dual carriageway is nothing but dual lane road. Okay, so in all of out of all of these road types, single lane road has caused like more than 50% of accidents. Okay, we can say 70 to 75% of accidents are occurred due to single lanes, right? So government and other bodies need to take an action to convert the roadways to double lane, right? So in this way, they can reduce the number of accidents per year. All right. So these are some insights which we can draw from out of this particular dashboard. So our final requirement is to develop a chart with respect to location, that is casualties with respect to location. And to develop this particular map chart, make sure guys you are connected to your internet connections, because Microsoft and Bing Corporation, they both provide us or generate us the map with respect to geocoding which will be taken from online. So I will just use this particular map, and you can see this map has been appeared over here, and we need to place some fields into this particular visuals. So I will take first latitude and I will put it into latitude. Okay, and then we have longitude and I will place it over here in longitude. So what we have to do is, here is one drop down. You have to go ahead and change its aggregation to average. I will change it to average. Similarly for longitude as well, I will change it to average. Okay. So and when you convert both this to average, you can see it is not displayed right now. Next, what you have to do is you have to take the local authority discrete and you have to put it into location. Okay. So as soon as you put it over here, you can see your chart will be displayed over here. Next, what you have to do is you have to make it fit into this particular container. Make sure it is correctly fit over here. All right. Next, what we will do, we will format our visual. So I will select this, go to our format and go in general, and in effects, we will first turn off our background over here. Then we will change our titles. That is, we will change the title to casualties by location. Okay, so these are casualties by location, and we will be using a font as semi bold, 11 as a font size, and white 10% darker as a color. Alright, so this is our chart. Then select this chart again, go to our visual, and now we need to change some what we can say labels over here. So in bubbles, first we will go in bubbles, and we will change the size of bubbles first. We will decrease it. Okay, and we will take it as 15. Okay, so we will decrease and make it as 15, and we will change the color of for bubbles as this color. Okay, we will use a yellow color. Then go in map settings, and in map settings there are different types of colors available here, like light color. With respect to that, the map will be changed. With respect to grayscale, again the map will be changing. Arial color. Okay, so these are the different color combination which we have. When we will be using the dark one. Okay, choose the dark as our map settings. Okay, then next what you can go is you can go in our controls over here. We don't want to auto zoom it. Okay, so we'll just turn this off, but we want custom zoom buttons over here. So I will just turn this on, and you can see custom zoom buttons will be appeared over here. So we'll just zoom it. Okay, just zoom it so that it is taking the correct size. Okay, so this is enough. Okay, so this is our zoom. So next what we will do, we will just reduce the bubbles more. So I will just close this, and we will decrease the bubble size to 18. Okay, so this is fine. All right, so this is our map chart, and next what we will go is go in style again, and in controls turn on our lasso button as well. Okay, what is this lasso button is nothing but when you click on this, and if you want to select some area, like if you want to analyze this particular area in rectangular shape, so it will give us the idea of that particular picture only, right? So right now interactive filters are there. So when I click, the other filters will be what we can say visuals will be filtered out. We will change that later. All right, so this is how we have created our donut, this particular chart. But what information we need from here is all the information will be you can say will be showing up in tooltip only. So if you can see, this is the tooltip, but tooltip is only showing the latitude and longitude over here. We want to show the number of casualties and number of accidents as well. So select this particular visual. As soon as you select and go into our build visual tab, and here you can see tooltip is there. So we want to show number of accidents. So take this casualties, put it over here, and take the number of vehicles and drop it over here as well. Okay. So now you, when you click, go ahead and you can see in this particular area, the district is Valley Royal and the number of casualties were 97 and number of vehicles accident involved were 149. All right. So in this way, we have created our this visual as well. The next thing is very important thing is to apply the filters on here, right? And now to how to apply the filters here is first we will work on interactive filters, then we will add the slicers over here. So when I click on this particular thing, you can see all the visuals are, we can see, filtering out. But if you can see this particular donut chart, it is highlighting, it is not filtering out correctly. Similar, this particular bar chart is also not filtering correctly. You can see it is only highlighting with respect to those values. All right, but we want the complete filter. So what we have to do is select this particular chart. Okay, then go in format. Okay, and in format there is option called edit interaction. So click on this. So as soon as you click on this, all the edit interaction filters are showing up on each and every chart. Okay. So what we will do with respect to this particular field or this particular chart, you have to select this chart. And if you can see in this particular donut chart, this particular highlight option has been activated over here. Okay, so I will just click over here and it is deactivated. And now what I will activate is filter option. So when I click on this particular filter option is filled with black color. It means that it is activated. So now when I click on this particular thing, so you can see it is changing, but it is actually filtering. It is not highlighting. Similar way, so in this case also it is highlighting. So we have to change this and we have to click on this particular filter option. So as soon as I click on filter option, you can say this particular are now filtering, right? With respect to this, it is filtering actually, right? So in this way we have changed this. Okay, so now it is up to us that with respect to which visual what should be changed. Okay, so now I one more thing is here, when I choose this particular visual, right, when I am choosing month and all these things. Okay, so let's say I'm choosing this particular month. With respect to that, all the visuals are changing, but my requirement and my client requirement is in such a way that after choosing this chart or any particular member on this chart, no visual will be should be filtered. Okay, so to do that, what we have to do is, so click on this particular area chart, and with this area chart nothing should be visualized or nothing should be filtered out. So there is an option called this none option, so you have to activate this. When I click on this, if it is black, it is activated. So you have to go ahead and click every all these options on all the charts, convert this into none. Okay, click on this particular black options for all the charts. Okay, in this way. Similarly for this, oops, select this and this as well and this as well. Similarly for this as well. These are images. If you don't do it, doesn't matter. Okay, so now when I click on this, nothing is changing. You can see none of the visual is filtering. Similarly, in same way, if I click on this particular visual and I click on this particular bar, these are highlighting, but it should be filtered. So you have to turn this filter on. Okay, so now it is filtering. Now it is filtering. Okay, so this is a good practice. Okay, similarly with respect to this also, when I click here, those are highlighting, so it should be filtered. Okay, it should be filtered. Completed. All right, so we have with respect to, again, by location also, we don't want to filter our chart. Okay, so you have to click on locations and you have to turn on everything, turn off everything. Okay, so in this way you can go ahead and do that as well. And now next thing what we have to do is we have to add our slicers over here. Okay, so now how to add the slicers? So to add the slicer, we have one option over here, slicer. So what I will do, I will just go over here. In slicers, what we have to do is, this is the slicer card. Just click on this particular card. This will be opened. And the slicers, what we want here is, we want the slicer for, first is the road type. Okay, not the road type, weather conditions. Okay, So we will find the weather conditions. Where is it? Okay, this is the weather conditions, and we'll bring it over here. Okay, so we can see these are the different weather conditions, but there are so many weather conditions. We don't want all to be displayed. We will consolidate them. So for now, what I will do, I will just delete this. Okay, and we will take this weather conditions. Let us find it. This is the weather condition. Right click, and we will group the members over here. So I will add some. So for rainy season, I will add all these rainy season weather conditions, and I will name it as rainy weather or rain weather. Okay, this will be my first. Then I will change the fine, all fine conditions. I will change it to fine. That is fine weather. Weather is very clean. Then fog and snowy will add it in one group, and I will name it as snow, fog, and other will be other itself. Okay, this will be other itself. I will just click on OK. You can see this new field has been created. Now I will go ahead and create a slicer, and I will take the weather and I will put it over here. Okay, so you can see this has been created. Now you can see here these options should be disabled for us, this particular highlighted option. So click on any chart over here. Okay, click on any chart, go to format and turn off this. Okay, so that all these interactions will go. Now select this particular options. Okay, so we have to format this particular slicer now. So select this particular slicer, go to our format visual, go to slicer slating, and it should be drop down. Okay, we want a drop down option, and in selection there should be a multi select option and select all option. Okay, so means what, there should be option to select all, and if you want, we want to select other options as well. So by mistakenly we have taken the weather conditions. We should be taking a group one. So I will just click on this, go to our build visuals, and instead of weather conditions we should take a group which we have created. So I will just place it over here, and I will delete the first one. Okay, so this is now the conditions which we have, and whenever I'm changing, you can see with respect to that the charts are changing with respect to that. Okay, so now I will just select this, go to our visuals, go to our general, and in title, uh, first what we will do, in visual slicer rating, slicer header we have to go actually in slicer header, and we will change this name. Okay, all right, this is looks good, so I'll just reduce the size. Try to place it over here. All right, then select this, go to general, and in effect turn off the background. Now what we have to do is we have to convert it into white color. Okay, so I'll just close this option so it will be easier for us what I'm doing. So go in values. Okay, in values, in font color, choose this as a font color. Okay, we are using this as a red color as a font for our values. And go to slicer header, and for slicer header we will choose this as a color. Okay, so this is our first slicer which we have added. The second slicer which we have to add is with respect to the road. Let me check which is the slicers we are adding. We need to add is road surface. Okay, so road surface, we will check if we need to create a group or not. I will just no. Yeah. So for road surface also we need to create a group. So I will just right click here, and we will group some of the items over here. So for flood and wet we will group this, and we will name it as wet area. Okay, or wet road surface. For dry it will be a dry only, and for snow and ice we will group these to snow or ice. Okay, click on OK. All right, so now we will create one more filter card over here, or we can just delete this, and we can copy Control C and Control V. So we will just change everything in here only. Okay, so instead of weather conditions we will just delete this, and we will take our road surface conditions group and we'll place it over here. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to just whatever, whenever I'm changing with respect to this particular, the values are changing, right? So now we need to change the title over here. Go to build visuals, go to our slicer header, and we will change it to road surface. Okay, so this is with respect to road surface and weather. So we have added slicers also. Okay, then I will just close this, and I will show you the dashboard which you have designed. So this is our final output, guys. With respect to requirement, we have designed our this complete the project of Power BI. And in the same way, in real time industry as well, you will be working in the same way. Only the case will be that you have to design multiple dashboards, and there will be multiple use cases, multiple requirements, and multiple scenarios which you have to work on. You have to you have to sit and you have to decide what calculations should be used, what colors should be used, how to place your dashboard. Okay, so this was a course for beginners, all right, and intermediates as well. So next thing what we have to do is I will show you how to export this dashboard. Okay, so there are different ways to export. So you have to go in file and you have to click on publish. Okay, so in publish, this is publish to Power BI is nothing but on Power BI site which is created, which is hosted by your client or your company, where you can go ahead and publish here. So for this you need an email ID, but for now I will show you how to export this. When I click on export, and when I click on export to PDF, you can see it is converted to PDF, and a PDF will be created. And this PDF you can send through a mail or whatever you can do it, right? Or you can send this particular Power BI file as well. All right. So in this way, we have created this dashboard. I hope you have learned something from this. And if you have, go ahead and like this video, subscribe my channel, and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.